Hi, Marianne. John here. So let's kind of review that forehand from Friday. So I'm going to kind of start backwards, and this is actually pretty much the end product. And so let's just look at it real quick. This is what we ended up with, which I like a lot. That's it. So what I want you to notice, so what we kind of talked about mainly on Friday, was the windshield wiper. And what that was, as you can kind of see, it's like that 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and then finishes at 9 o'clock. And then the other two things we talked about were the left hand. You can kind of focus on the left hand. There's our left hand out, and that goes in the left. So you can actually lead with the left hand. And then the other piece of the puzzle was point of contact out in front. So this only works out in front. And so let me just kind of review a little bit of how we got there. And the first thing I want to focus on is that swing. And and here it is right here, that 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock swing.
3 o'clock? 12 o'clock?
Oops, I should probably back up real quick. We also did change that grip. I didn't take a picture of that, but the grip's more that frying pan grip. The semi set is called a semi-western, and I can kind of review that with you at some other day if you get lost on that.
9 o'clock.
But here's
3
our
o'clock?
3 o'clock
9
to 9
o'clock.
o'clock, and that's just that
That's the
whip.
win.
Now, one thing I also want you to notice is when you're doing this, watch how the arm rotates. The racket head goes low to high, because of the rotation of your arm, the pronation really. So your arm is pretty much staying in the very same place. It's kind of under your rib cage, and you're twisting to get that lift, and that's racket head acceleration, racket head speed. That's what I'm demoing right there. And so basically, if you just throw a ball in there, you'll get a nice swing without much doing anything else, and that's what I'm going to demo here. Is I just throw the ball in there. Sorry, let's just get a good one. And watch, boom. You get that nice whippy rotation of the arm swing. It's clean. Yeah, you want that racket to get up to 12 o'clock, and it goes back down to 9 o'clock. That's perfect. And so then I kind of put you on the service line. I went to the other side of the net, and we did the same thing. There it is. That's perfect. So we can actually, we're starting to see all three components here. We definitely see the swing, the 3 to 9. The only way it works well is if you hit it out in front. So those two are kind of joined at the hip. And what I also like is that your left arm's getting a little bit more involved here. It's kind of up. It's out a little bit. It's probably not out as much as it could be. And then I just move you back to the baseline. I like that swing a lot. I really like the swing, and everything's kind of everything has to work in harmony. You're only going to get a good swing is if you hit it out in front. So hitting it out in front and then doing the 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock swing are very much, they have to be almost one and the same. And you'll see it's hard to tell. It's a little blurry, but you can kind of follow the racket blur. It goes 3 to 9 to 12. The only thing I might say is that we need to kind of focus on that left hand a little bit, and but the swing itself is great. Here's another good one. Not so much that way. The next one's better. It has a nice spin to it. And then if you want to just hit a flatter ball, and it's going to be hard to maybe tell it from this angle, but on this one, instead of focusing exclusively on the 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you actually do that as well as extending your arm towards the net, and that'll create a bit of a flatter ball. And so there's no right or wrong answer of how much spin versus how much kind of extension you put on it. It depends on what you're trying to do. There it is again. I like that. And then that just kind of leads us to where we started the video off with. I really like this one. Left arm up. It just sounds great, doesn't it? The other thing too is you'll notice. Look at the height. Look at where you're making contact. it's chest high. So before, when you were hitting in the continental grip, which is also your backhand grip, your ideal point of contact was almost like probably thigh high to belly button high. Now, what this a big benefit of this forehand is that it really stretches out your strike zone. You can go from the easily from the top of your head below your knees in the same grip. So that's kind of a nice feature of this. So one more time and kind of walk it through in slow motion. And good balance. And we didn't really talk footwork at all, but that is great footwork. You got out in front, and don't worry that your knees aren't super bent because you're taking the ball so high. It wouldn't even make sense to bend your knees. But you're relaxed. You got that weight going forward. You can tell because your right heel is off the ground, and you're just going to clock this thing. Boom! Weight and your body weight comes through. That's a good looking swing, Marianne. So that's it. Thanks a lot.